Students, it is time to begin this active learning strategy, moving to music. And I want to energize you a little bit. Is that what I'm talking about? Well, not really. I'm going to give you some basic math equations. And instead of just blurting out the answer, I'm going to play some music like this. And you are going to walk around the room and you're going to think about the answer to that equation. And when I stop the music, I'm going to ask one of you what the answer is. But you will have had time to contemplate and think about it. And I know you're going to have the correct answer. And if you don't, that's okay too. I just want you thinking. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Students, the music is about to begin. And I'm going to ask you to lift yourselves up and to move about the room. And you can meander any which way you would like. I want it to be done slowly, thoughtfully. And if you encounter someone in front of you, acknowledge them, but please move on. We're going to begin with some basic math equations. And I will adjust the length of time that I play the music in accordance with how difficult the questions are. All right. The first one is going to be the square root of 25. The square root of 25. And here's the music. I'm going to ask you to stop. And Yuli, what is the square root of 25?
I think it's 5.
Class, is he correct?
Yeah.
Yes. A number times itself. In this case, square root of 25 is 5. Let's give a little something on that. Can you handle one that's a little more complex?
Yeah, I think so.
I know you can. I want you to find the square root of 16. And when you have that answer, I want you to multiply it by 3. Square root of 16, and then multiply that by 3. Here's the music. Haley, I'm going to ask you, what is the answer?
Is it 12?
Class, is she correct?
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. What's the square root of 16?
4.
Multiply that by 3.
12.
You got it. Can you handle one even more complex?
Yeah.
And here's the deal. If you want, please grab a notebook, grab a pencil. You can certainly solve this as you ponder. Here it is. The square root of 36. Multiply that answer by 4 and then subtract 7. Again, the square root of 36 multiplied by 4 and then subtract 7. Here's the music. Respectfully, I'm going to ask you to stop. And Alicia, what is the answer?
17.
17. Class, is she correct?
Yeah.
Give her a little something on that. What's the square root of 36?
6,
multiplied by 4,
24,
minus 7.
17.
Bingo. Please return to your seats. I loved listening to my father's creative methods for incorporating music into his curriculum. My father taught for 4 decades, and it was hard not to laugh out loud as he talked about his students moving about the classroom while he played vinyl records. Today, through research, we are just beginning to understand the power of music. Fortunately, we have endless opportunities for utilizing this engaging media, such as computers and MP3 players. As the music plays, I ask them to make their way around the room. I also explain that this is not a role play in bumper cars. They must always move carefully and slowly. Students are encouraged to greet one another through eye contact or a kind word as they pass by. The math equations I just demonstrated were fairly easy for older students and may require less movement. You decide the difficulty of the equation, question, open-ended statement, or other form of appropriate content. The more difficult the material, the more time I play the music. Sometimes it lasts for as little as 15 seconds. Sometimes I may go 60 or 90 seconds. Here are a few more examples involving math formulas and shapes, and then I will demonstrate the versatility of this strategy using poems, moral dilemmas, vocabulary terms, and so much more. Students, I am holding some signs that have triangles placed upon them, and I'm going to ask you to find the area. Area equals 1/2 the base times the
Height.
correct. So as the music plays, I want you to meander around the room, look at these triangles, and try to figure out the area. When I stop the music, I'm going to ask you to solve for area. You understand how it's going to work?
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to stop the music right there. And Josh, what is the height of this one right here?
8 inches,
8 inches. What's the base?
4 inches,
Okay. What do we say is the formula for finding the area?
half base times height,
1/2 the base times the height. So what's the answer? What's the area?
16.
Okay, he said 16. So the base is 4, class. What's half of that?
2.
Multiplied by the height, which is 8. What's that?
16.
Is he correct?
Yeah.
Nice job. A little something on that. John, why don't you tell us what the base is, please?
4 centimeters.
4 centimeters. What's the height?
10 centimeters.
What's the area?
20 centimeters.
20 centimeters. Is he correct?
Yeah.
Nice job. on this one right here. What is the base?
16 feet.
16 feet. What's half of that?
8.
What's the height?
4
What is the area?
32.
Is she correct?
Yes.
Absolutely. Nice job. And which one haven't we solved yet? Courtney, have you solved one yet? Okay, go ahead. Tell us what the base and height are.
The base is 6 meters and the height is 9 meters. So if you cut the base in half, it would be 3 meters, and then 3 times 9 would give you 27 meters as the area.
Sounds like your math is golden. Is she correct?
Yeah.
Nice job. Could we use this active learning strategy and apply it to works of literature?
Yeah.
Moral dilemmas,
Yeah.
science concepts,
Yeah.
historical events and decisions that were made by generals.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think we should. Students, I have a poem written by a very important poet. It happens to be my great uncle, and his name is Walt Whitman. No, not really. I wish I were related to him. But he did write a very important poem called "O Captain, My Captain." And I would like you to read it, and then I want you to reflect upon it. And we're going to use music. You understand?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now that you had a chance to read this poem, I'm about to start the music. And I'm going to ask you to reflect on some questions. And the first question is, who is this poem about? Who is the captain that Walt Whitman is talking about? If you'd like, you can carry the poem with you and reread it as the music plays. I'd like you to stop, and I'd also like to try something a little different this time. I want you to stand back to back by the person that's closest to you. And if you don't have a partner, up here is the collection spot. We'll make sure you get a partner, or I'll be your partner. So go ahead, stand back to back by the person that's closest to you. Josh, you gotta go with me. Now turn towards your partner. I'm going to start the music again. Don't move, but I want you to discuss who you think the captain is. I'm going to ask you to stop there. And Stephanie, who do you think the captain is in this poem?
When Hunter and I were discussing it, we thought it was Abe Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. Fantastic. Here's the next question I want you to think about. When Walt Whitman talks about the ship, what is the ship? There's some symbolism going on there. So I'm going to start the music, and I want you to meander around the room again and be thinking about what the ship is in this poem. Okay, I want you to partner up with someone, please, whoever's closest to you. All right, I'm going to, everybody have a partner? I'm going to start the music again. Again, the ship, symbolic of what? Go ahead, turn towards your partner and discuss.
What about you?
I think I'll do that. Some people so it makes sense if he's a Catholic.
Yeah, what's the thing about and not that it's so wild that you know, because like this is the first
John had a great perspective on the symbolic nature of the ship. What does the ship represent to you?
Represents the Union during the Civil War because Abraham Lincoln was like the captain. He's like the president of the Union, and so he led them through the Civil War like a captain leads his crew and his ship through I don't know, stormy seas, I guess.
All right. What do you think of that perspective?
It's good.
Good.
Very good. Knowledgeable. Other perspectives, feelings on this?
I think the ship was the United States as a whole because Lincoln, the captain, wanted to keep it that way and not have it split apart.
I like that. So I want you to think about the scientific ramifications and the moral issues surrounding cloning. Should you be able to clone yourself or not? For instance, I'm starting to get up there in age, and as I continue to get older and older, my heart is not going to be as strong as it is right now. Imagine if I had a clone of myself, and I could use that clone for spare parts. You know my car out in the parking lot? When the tires are going bald, do you know what I do?
yeah,
Replace them.
I replace them. So now imagine my heart doesn't quite beat the way that it should. Doesn't have as much strength. And I have a 20-year-old version of myself. And I can harvest the organs. I can take his heart. And I got a brand new heart. I'm going to live a lot longer. Should I be able to do that? Or not? It's my clone. Think about the ramifications of cloning. Should it be allowed or not? And why do you feel that way? And this time, I'm going to ask for a volunteer. You might provide each of your students with an index card that has a question, statement, famous quote, or some other piece of information you want them to contemplate. Each student is instructed to read his or her index card thoughtfully and quietly as they move about the room. The cards could all be the same, or each index card could be unique. 2 examples might include quotes such as, "Do not put such unlimited power into the hands of husbands. Remember, all men would be tyrants if they could." Abigail Adams. Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. Ernest Hemingway. Once the music stops, they will discuss the information on their index card with a student that is nearby. Then, have a few students provide their thoughts for the entire class. Next, have them exchange index cards. And lastly, the students say goodbye and continue their movement again. This could be repeated several times. It should be noted, for logistical reasons, including tripods and other camera equipment, I had to limit the number of students participating in this strategy. I truly believe it works more effectively with a room full of students.
And also, clones, they're probably gonna have feelings too, because they're gonna be another person. I mean, it would kind of be their decision if they want to be used or not.
You know, and that's a great thought. When I talk about a clone, and I say, well, I cloned myself, so I'm going to use him as spare parts. Do you think my clone might have something to say about that?
Yeah, it'll be like torture.
Do you think he might say, well, you know, the heart you need, I sort of need it too? Yeah? My experiences in education, and quite frankly in life, constantly reaffirm the importance of emotion. Emotion makes our experiences memorable. If you accept this premise, then it only seems appropriate, whenever possible, to tie emotion to our educational lessons. Laughter and excitement make our lessons memorable. The wonder of how a scientific experiment will end makes the lesson more memorable. The scary happenings in your favorite classroom novel, again, makes the lesson memorable. If I ever doubted the power of making emotional connections through the lessons we teach, please view the next segment as John, confronted with a moral dilemma, is asked to make a gut-wrenching decision. We're going to apply this strategy to a moral dilemma. And a moral dilemma forces you to make a choice based on your value system. We can apply this to many different concepts when we talk about moral dilemmas, especially in the world of literature. The example I'm going to give you is hypothetical. But I really want you to think about the words and what you would do if you were put in this very difficult position. Here it is. Your best friend asks you to watch his little puppy, and the puppy's name is Smiley. He's a golden retriever, and he's just about the cutest little thing imaginable. Well, maybe not as cute as your puppy named Mr. Fluffy. Your puppy is a bulldog. He's a big, sloppy dog. He's got a big tongue, and he loves popcorn balls. You, of course, agree and take the two puppies on a little stroll. As you cross a small bridge over a pond, a lady walking towards you suddenly has terrible pains. She's 9 months pregnant, and she's going into labor. Acting quickly, you call 911 and you stay with the woman, offering as much comfort as you can until paramedics arrive. You feel like a hero as the ambulance drives away and gentle baby cries can be heard. People tell you how incredible you are. You even wonder if the new baby will be named after you. Now all the people are gone. You are alone on the small bridge. Then a feeling of panic comes over you. In all the commotion, the puppies are nowhere to be seen. Smiley, Mr. Fluffy, you call out. Where are you? They decided to leap off the bridge and into the pond to play with the ducks. And they are now both exhausted. Their little heads struggle to stay afloat, and soon they will both drown. They are 50 yards away from one another. You can save one, but not both. And again, you are alone. You only have a few seconds to act. And I'm about to ask you what you would do in that situation. But I want you to remember this. Smiley belongs to your best friend in the world. You even helped your best friend pick Smiley out from the Humane Society. Your best friend would do anything for you. If you needed a kidney, he'd give you one. So what are you going to do? Are you going to save your dog, Mr. Fluffy? Or are you going to save your best friend's dog, Smiley? And I'm going to play some music, and I want you to slowly, thoughtfully reflect on this moral dilemma. And when I stop the music, I'm going to ask you what you would do in this very, very difficult position.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How deep is a pond?
The pond is deeper than the puppies. They can't reach the bottom. Their little feet can't make it.
I mean, like, is it taller than us? Like, the water? Like, how high is the water?
It's up to about your waist. And you do not have time to get both. Plain and simple. You've got to make a choice. But those are great questions. Let me start the music. Lift yourselves up. Slowly think about what you do. I'm going to stop the music there. And John, I'm going to begin by asking you. Remember, your puppy's name is Mr. Fluffy. Your best friend's puppy's name is Smiley. You can only save one. What would you do?
I think I'd probably save my friend's puppy.
Why?
Because it'd be easier to let my own puppy go than someone else's.
It wouldn't be easy.
Easier.
You know, that's probably a very honest answer. And I can even see a little pain in your face as you give that answer. And most of us in here have probably had a puppy at one time or a kitten, and we know how much we love our animals. I want you to think about the honest answer that he gave. And I'm going to play the music again. And when I stop the music, I'm going to ask you how you feel. And you're going to start by saying, I agree with John, I would, and then explain, or I disagree with John and I would. So try to incorporate his answer into your own. We're going to build off of one another's ideas.